Welcome, welcome,
Yes.
everybody.
Welcome, everybody.
Okay, my dear family, welcome,
Yes.
welcome.
Okay, so
Today,
let's pay respect.
let's pay respect, and then we introduce. Today is a nice.
It should be very interesting.
We feel inspired in the place we are now in our studies. It's inspiring. We'll explore why. So let's start remembering all our teachers. Seado Nandamalaji, Seado Uptilananda, wherever he may be in his journey. Seado Ukam, Seado Tajenia, el Dalai Lama, any teacher that we have been benefited and loved. Yutadamo Bhikkhu, all the teachers, may they be well. We remember all the Sangha and their teachers all the way to the Buddha. So with all respect and gratitude, I feel more confident to say it now because we all know why are we grateful for all what we know already, all the tools. So homage to the sublime, to the victorious, to the totally self-enlightened one. Still, I dare to say we cannot fathom the depth of his understanding and compassion. May we continue exploring such a depth. And with that being said, we repeat Namo Tassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Itipiso Bhagava Araham Sama Sambuddho Vichacharana Sampano Sukato Lokavidu Anutaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati Satta Deva Manusanam Buddho Bhagavati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Deep, deep, deep gratitude. Thank you to all our teachers. Okay, my dear family. So very good news. As we said, we are changing chapter, and this chapter you will see the plateau we are entering on the course. This chapter we have finished the 4 ultimate realities. So now in this chapter you will see that it starts going into the direction of application. We know what there is, how to apply it. So this chapter very beautifully blurs the boundary between Abhidhamma and the suttas. We will start seeing how we can see the suttas through the eyes of Abhidhamma and how we can find Abhidhamma content inside the discourses, the many discourses that the Buddha gave, the many ways he taught. You will see how beautiful it is. We are already moving towards practice. So I think we are in a point, we can call this the middle. It's not because of time or chapters, but the middle of these studies. Now we are going towards the goal. We know what there is. So let's see how the Buddha organized it for our understanding and inspiration for practice. Very, very beautiful moment we are in, dear family. You will see why.
Okay, so today we are starting the new chapter, chapter 7, the compendium of categories, it's called. So as Bante just said, previously in the 6 chapters, then we have already seen the 4 kinds of ultimate realities: Chitta, Cetasika, Rupa, and Nibbana. In details. Yes. Each one, what are they, and how they work together, and all these details that we have seen. So now in the Abhidhamma Sangaha, in this chapter, chapter 7, it is called the compendium of categories, in Pali, Samuchaya Sangaha Vibhaga. What the author is showing us here in this chapter are actually some special names or terminologies of those ultimate realities that we have already seen. Yes. So we are going to see again those cetasikas or those chittas or those information that we have already seen previously, but now they are put into different groups with special names.
Yes. So we will see now, my dear family, on these categories, as Charana just said, the ultimate realities that we already explore in depth. What are the mental ingredients, the kind of chittas they are, the mental process, the rupa. Now we will see how the Buddha used them in daily speech, in conceptual speech, paññati. Yes. We know, remember that the 2 realities, paramata and paññati, the ultimate reality and the conventional. So Abhidhamma, in these first 6 chapters, we saw the ultimate realities. Now we will see how the Buddha called them in conventional using metaphors. That's why I say it's so beautiful, because now we start looking at all the metaphors that the Buddha used. Since he was talking to many people that didn't know Abhidhamma, he couldn't mention the Cetasika directly, or he couldn't mention the chitta, like for example, Somanasa Sahagata Diti Sampayuta Asankarika or something like this. The people will be like, wow. So how the Buddha used very skillfully and beautifully, even sometimes even poetically, to express the ultimate realities to common people, to farmers, to kings, to mothers, to fathers, etc., etc. So this is where the ultimate reality, it's being explored on how it is applied onto our conventional lives. So this is the moment when we can start communicating directly, hopefully eventually with our children, how to express such a depth of understanding of reality into something that we can see clearly and apply in our daily lives.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so these special names and special terms that as Bante said are let's say a concept name that refers to some kind of ultimate realities. And the Buddhas explained about this mostly for the practice of vipassana meditation.
Yes, the deepest fruits of the teaching, which is seeing reality as it is, vipassana, in a special way, literally meaning vipassana, meaning cultivating wisdom in order for us to liberate fully from suffering. Make peace with nature, live at peace, practice in peace, and liberate in peace.
So these terms will be very useful. I will give you an example that we have already explored previously. Let's say the 5 khandhas, the 5 aggregates. So we have seen that already. Actually, what we see so many times in the suttas, what we say the 5 khandhas, the 5 khandhas, the 5 aggregates,
the 5 aggregates of clinging,
the 5 aggregates. What are they? So we have seen that actually they are just nama and rupa, which nama is divided into 2. Then again, this chitta is termed vijnana in this case, and then cetasika divided into vedana, sanya, and then the other 50 called sankara, and then rupa.
Rupa keeps the same.
So the same thing divided into 5 categories, 5 groups in this case are called the vijnana khandha, vedana khandha, sanya khandha, sankara khandha, and rupa khandha, no? All this, so if we hear about the 5 aggregates, which we will hear so many times
in the suttas
and in other places, so if we don't know what actually are the 5 aggregates,
the ultimate realities of the 5 aggregates,
then it becomes like confusing, like so what exactly is it, no?
Actually, a few weeks ago, last week or so, we got this question from somebody. Ezequiel asked the question. Yeah, you remember Ezequiel. He's now following the Abhidhamma course in Spanish. So even people who, not just him, people who has been studying only the suttas for years, it is unbelievable to see that without knowing the ultimate realities, there is still confusion saying, why did the Buddha call the person by his name? For example, you, Visakha, you should understand in this way. He was referring to the person in the most superficial level, which was the conventional one. You and me, our name, our family, etc. Then in another place, the Buddha referred to Visakha as Nama and Rupa. He said the Nama and Rupa of Visakha, just to put an example. And then now we have 2. Knowing Abhidhamma as we know, as far as we know now, we know what Rupa is and what Nama is, which is the mind. Then later on, depending to who he was speaking, if the Buddha was talking to his monks, already they knew some Abhidhamma, he would start talking about chitta and cetasika, not nama. He will use the chitta more specifically and the mental ingredients. And later on, he will say the 5 khandhas, which is a very common term that we find in the suttas. And later he will say the dhatus and the elements. They are still more subdivisions, more clear when the Buddha needed to explain something very specific about our mind. So now, my dear family, one invitation that we'll have with this chapter for all to follow is to start getting the methodology of understanding reality. We find a reality that is a concept, we speak it every day, we know about it, but then we start looking. We put the Abhidhamma lens glasses and we see in X-ray reality, and we extract the ultimate realities of that concept. At this time, my dear family, we are really have much more possibilities to developing understanding and the peace that comes together with it, because we know what constitute all the concepts that we have in our head already that are used in the street. We can start understanding them in ultimate reality that is very, very tasty and beneficial for our wisdom to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So this.
Sorry, just to mention this methodology. Sutanta is the methodology used in the suttas, and Abhidhamma, the methodology of Abhidhamma. There are two ways of looking at reality, either in the conceptual one, which is real, it's a conceptual reality, it exists, and the ultimate. If we can make a balance between these, my dear family, much the best is the best is to come. Okay, yes, yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Vante. So these 5 aggregates is an example of those groups and special names that shows some kind of ultimate realities. No, so in this case, 5 aggregates are very common, and we have already explored. And in this chapter, there will be many more of this kind of terms, which will be very useful because when we read suttas, we will always encounter things like the khandhas, the aggregates, and sometimes we read something like Āsavas, cankers. Sometimes we read dhatu, elements, or bojjhanga, factors of enlightenment. So these terms comes out in the suttas. But what exactly are they? What do they mean? So if we don't know, then it's just a name.
A lot of confusion can arise later on, or misinterpretations.
Yes, misinterpretation. So therefore, in this chapter, many of these terms are defined. Defined what they actually are. So so we may say that it is therefore it is very important, and we may say that this chapter is a little bit like the Rosetta Stone.
The Rosetta Stone of the suttas. So this chapter will be like the glossary of all what is, how to find the ultimate realities of anything that the Buddha spoke in the suttas. Imagine all the suttas, all the Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, and all the Dhammapada, whatever the Buddha spoke about there, many of the main things important, we will be able to use this 7th chapter as the Rosetta Stone to translate, to be able to see the khandhas in their ultimate reality is this, the Āsavas, the factors of enlightenment are this and this and this and this. So we will give less possibilities for confusion or misinterpretation to arise from the sutta. That is why Sayadaw U Kham, which we mentioned to you at the beginning, told us, if you learn first Abhidhamma, when you look at the suttas, wow, you will see them in X-ray, you will understand much more. It is because of this, because we will start looking, not just the story or the concept of the sutta, but the ultimate realities that the Buddha was pointing out.
Yes, so most of the time when we read suttas, so therefore why the commentaries are important as well, because in the suttas, these terms come out, but the meaning does not come. So the more information about these words does not come. So many times in commentaries is also explained. So in this chapter, chapter 7 of the Abhidhamma Sanghaha is not too big. So maybe not every single word or every single thing that comes out there will be, in this chapter, I don't think so. But in the commentaries, more details will be, and also the most important, like Bhante said, main terms that always we see, then we will have.
Not words or concepts, but families, yes. You will see the families. And today we'll start. Let's start.
When we go into that,
yes, let's get into it.
Okay.
So my dear family, a little bit of warning. As you know, the Buddha always explained what we needed to clean. So please buckle up, put your safety belt, because today is going to be a little bit intense. That's the way the Buddha arranged. First starts with the akusala, and remembering the essence of the teaching is avoid doing bad, do good, purify your mind. That's the essence of the teaching. He starts with avoid doing bad. First, he always taught what needs to be cleaned first, what needs to be avoided. So today we're starting with that.
Yes. Okay,
categories.
So it's like you will find many terms and its definition, no? So in this case, like Bante said, it is divided into 4 collections, 4 compendiums. So let's say this dictionary is with 4 chapters. Let's say. So the first one is Agusala, the category of the unwholesome. We will see there's some names that describe the unwholesome things.
The unwholesome families or the unwholesome terms that the Buddha used to refer to the dirtiness of the mind.
Then we have in the second compendium, the Misaka, which are the category of the mixed phenomena. So here will be we will see some examples now. So we'll just see the titles first. Then we'll see beautiful things as well. The Bodhipakkhiya, which are the category of the requisites of enlightenment.
What is necessary for us to get enlightened? Then it is described. What kind of elements? So in short, my dear family, this Bodhipakkhiya is describing the Noble Eightfold Path that we have listened so many times in the suttas, in the normal teachings, in their ultimate realities. Can we see? I mean, I know I'm an enthusiastic person already, but already more like, can we see the goal we are facing here?
Yes, we are going to look Noble Eightfold, but many things.
Yeah, much more things, but I mean, just using Charana as an example, one of them will be to explore the ultimate reality of the Noble Eightfold Path. We will know what it is.
Then we have the Saba Sangaha, which is a category of the whole. So in this case, like even Rupa and things are included. So we will see.
Yes.
Now, give you some example, because with the titles that is a little bit like hard to imagine. So Agusala, for example, in the category of unwholesome, what are we going to see? We're going to see like terms like cankers, flood, hindrances, defilements, fetters, etc. So all these words we find in the suttas many times. So what are they? For example, defilements. We heard so many times defilements.
Kilesa,
so
no? Kilesas.
What we know about defilements, most of the time, to be very honest, before studying Abhidhamma, I only know kilesas as lobha, dosa, moha. That's it. But actually, there are 10 kinds of defilements. Defilements are 10,
in ultimate reality.
So what are they? So in this chapter, we are going to explore more.
Another thing, for example, we have heard even in our culture when we say Maria Inmaculada, no? That means without macula. Defilements, macula with dirt. So defilements is actually that. The Buddha used that term to refer to the impurities of the mind. So all these things that we have learned in English and in Spanish, we will start looking, what is a macula of the mind? What is a defilement of the mind? The dirt in the mind, the impurity of the mind. Then we already have all, the good thing is that we already know the previous information. We already know these ultimate realities. We will be very familiar. Yes. So we have the floods and the hindrances, fetters, cankers. And we will go one by one, more of them in the Akusala categories.
Okay, so in the Misaka category, the mixed phenomena, what we're going to see are some of them we already know. We'll see faculties, roots, power, nutriments, jhana factors, etc. So all these terms, what exactly does it mean? Okay.
Later on, when somebody asks, what is a jhana? We all will be able to say the ultimate reality of the jhana. We already have information, so very, very beneficial. Then?
Yeah, so jhana factors, as we know, well, now that Bante is saying that Vitaka, Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekagata, no? But there are more actually. So there are more. So we will see. What are they? Okay, so let's go to another category. Bodhipakkhiya. So this is just giving you some example, like a trailer of what we are going to see.
Like when you go to Walmart and there is the lady with the plate with different kinds of cheese and we are just trying one or the other.
Okay, so in this category, we'll see like factors of enlightenment, foundations of mindfulness, power, accomplishments, and these terms that we will see what they are.
Look, foundations of mindfulness, the whole ultimate realities of the Satipatthana Sutta. Very nice. Coming. And the last one.
We have Āsavas, the category of the whole. Then here we will see terms like aggregates of clingings,
the elements,
vulnerable truth, the basis, etc. So these are the terms that we are going to look at. What does it mean?
So you remember, my dear family, that when we started this course, we told we will first learn what ingredients there are and how to use the knife, and later on we will go to the cooking, Well, my dear family, put your chef hat. This entering 7th chapter, now is the cooking time. All what the ingredients we learned, how to use a knife, what kind of knives there are, what kind of pans and ingredients. Now comes the cooking. We will see the real essence of the Buddha's teaching now going towards there with the ultimate goal, which is practice and liberation. Now is the cooking. Now is the real time for the cooking. I'm so happy. I'm sorry, my dear family, but I do feel a lot of joy that we have arrived until here. To be very honest, at some moments in the past, I kind of not doubted, but said,
this is so far.
Yeah, it's like far now to be here. I feel happy. And now we are starting to the real cooking class.
Well, and actually, we have already cooked it, some dishes. Now, actually, it is try and tasting. So it's really, this chapter is really about reflecting and looking inside also. So this is going to be very nice. So let's not talk so much.
Let's go.
Enter,
no? Okay, Akusala, let's start the first category.
Yeah, so the first category, Ahusala, the category of the unwholesome. So we're going to see...
Buckle up a little bit. It's going to get a little bit intense. The Buddha was tough at times when he wanted somebody to learn something, and that person was leleando, as we say, lele, moving from place to place. He used to give examples that were like, what? So buckle up. Here we go.
Okay, so the first one, the first term that we are going to look at is
Fer has a question. Fer, you raise your hand?
Yes, just a quick comment, but I can write it down, or can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just remember that the Buddha told Kamon Tuka Potila, empty book, because he knew a lot. Well, this is regarding that you say that the Buddha was sometimes direct and
tough. Yes, sometimes he was tough.
Yeah. And he called this monk empty book because he knew a lot about the Dhamma, but he did not practice.
Yes.
So he was trying to motivate him.
Yeah.
So he always called him empty book.
Empty book, come here, empty book.
Yeah. And then that motivated this monk to go into real practice, and he could attain enlightenment.
Yes.
It's a good story.
Yeah. Please say if you have the link later. First, don't distract. You can send us so we all can have it. Yes, the Buddha was tough. When he needed to be tough, he said some strong things based on compassion. That was the only way that person was so much in the ignorance or ego. You remember, he also, when he found monks with ego, he was quite tough with egotistic monks, and he bring them down heavily, and ultimately all of them understood and even got enlightened. So yes.
So yes, just as Bante said, the Buddha mostly, even he says strong words or whatever it may be, it is more out of compassion. He never tried to mock someone.
Never offended or mock anybody.
Make joke or make fun of other people. It only because it is necessary that he used this strong examples or words so they can understand.
Actually, as we know, the Buddha had nothing to do with the individual. The Buddha was attacking lobha, mana, dosa, and moha. Those are the enemies. The ignorance that lives inside of us is the enemy. We are not the enemy. We're just a human being that barely understand what is life, like in general. We barely know what is all this thing is about. It is not us. We don't possess ignorance, but ignorance, whenever it's present, when ego is present, when lobha, dosa is present, that is the enemy. The Buddha was attacking the ignorance inside the people. And sometimes if the mind was infatuated with attachment to its own ideas or his or her own ideas, it needed to be wake up in some way. So you will see, we're coming to some examples, and some of them are a little bit, so
okay, thank you.
So this view about the Buddha, that, the Buddha, very nice and things. No, the Buddha knew how to put limits in the right moment to the right person in the right way. You will see. Okay. We have seen in many sutras. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so the first in the group of the Āsavas, and the first term that we come to look at is called Āsavas. Āsavas, usually it is translated as tanks or cankers or flags or ossing or corruptions or terms like that. So there is no one exact translation in English that explains the word of Āsava. But now we will look at the different meanings of this word. Āsavas, originally it comes from meaning an intoxicating drink or fermented drink. So something that is fermented, that is getting rotten. So why is this term called intoxicating or fermented? Because when we want to ferment something, it takes a long time, no? So we have to keep it for a long time. So these things, these apusalas that are described as Āsavas, because they have been with us for a long, long time.
Lives and lives and lives.
Beginningless starting point, they are with us all the time, and they will stay with us until liberation, until Nibbana.
All these negativities of the all these negativities of the mind has been with us for long, has been they are getting rotten, they are fermented, and they intoxicate our mind. That's why the Buddha very cleverly used this. Our mind is intoxicated by lobha. When lobha is present, which we do naturally, the mind gets intoxicated by it, and we, like a drunk people, cannot understand truth for false or see good and bad clearly. So they intoxicate our minds, and it is coming out of something that is actually the process of fermentation is a way of controlling. When we ferment something for consumption, it is controlling the process of rottening, fermentation, and all of something like that.
Okay, so the first meaning is that it is like getting rotten, staying with us for so long time. That's why it is called Āsavas. And another meaning of Āsava is flowing out, means flowing out. So the example given by teachers is like blood or pus flowing out from a sore. Yeah. So when we have an opening or something, infection in the skin, so this blood and then this
water and pus that comes out of how you say this infected wound, infected area is called, it is an Āsava. So now the Buddha says this to the mind, the pus or the blood or this unpleasant smelly stuff that comes from a fermented rotten skin or infected wound that a human being can have,
that has stayed with us for
a long time without taking care. Imagine that is this Āsava in our mind, is oozing, it is expelling smelly words, smelly thoughts, and smelly actions. It has come for long, it is already fermented, and making the situation just worse. That's why I told you we will be, you know, we put this on graphics, so please forgive the specific image.
Not so bad. I didn't choose one too terrible.
They were worse when you search on Google. There are something worse. We pick someone that can inspire us a little bit, that is not too rosy, but yes, buckle up.
Okay, so we said that now we have the definition of Āsava, what it means. Now, so let's see what the Buddha called Āsavas. So the first Āsavas there are 4 Āsavas, 4 cankers, the sore, or the 4 fermented things that intoxicate the mind.
The mind.
The first
Remember, we're talking about mind.
Kamasawa. So kama is sense pleasure, Āsava is the canker, no? So that means the canker of attachment to sense.
Attachment to seeing beautiful things, listening beautiful things, smelling beautiful things, tasting sabroso, and feeling nicely. So this is not wrong in itself, but the attachment to it, the addiction we have to it, the obsession we have for searching once and again and again and again, it's an Āsava of the mind. So now my family, here is clear that we are using, the Buddha used, of course, the mind has no pus, the mind has no blood, it is rupaless, it has no matter. But yes, the Buddha used the concepts of something that we can understand very clearly, like a wound that's there now, to refer to internal workings. with these metaphors or images.
So the first canker is sense
Kama
desire.
sawa. This kama, as a reminder, is the same word as kama, the word in Kama Sutra, no? The Kama Sutra, the discourse on the sensual pleasure.
This is not a Buddhist discourse.
It is not a Buddhist discourse. It comes from Hinduism. But when kama is written with long akama, with one M, means sensual desire, Kama Sutta. And kama with two M and no diacritical mark is as we know, action, the law of kama.
Yes, okay, so the first canker is sense desire, attachment to sense desire. Then the next one is called bhavasawa. Bhava means existence, and so asawa canker, so the canker of attachment to continued existence.
The attachment to life, my dear family. Raise the hand that one doesn't have just a little about it. Yeah, we all have plenty of it, and it goes deep.
Yes, so
it's an Āsavas.
Throughout history, whether it is in the East or in the West, we have seen so many stories that people have been longing for this immortal medicine.
Eternal life.
Eternal lives, so people don't want to die. We don't want to die, so we want to live a long life. We want to continue to exist. And even then we cannot find this medicine, even we have to die, we still want to be reborn again in the good existence as a decent human being, or in the Deva realms, or in the Brahman realm. So we want to exist again and again and again and again. This attachment to the continued existence is the second canker. The second canker.
I will go back one image. Sorry. So here, one more. Kamasawa. Sorry. So my dear family, we do it in many ways. For example, have you ever heard a family member of ourselves wanting to leave a legacy? Oh, my dear son, I made this company for you. I want to leave this in the world. We want to make good things so our names stay forever. We want to have our children so they continue with our last surname, no? Saldaña. Saldaña must continue, or something like that. We can't want to make legacy. Whatever we try to extend ourselves, knowing that we will die. When there is a little bit of wisdom, I know I will die, but I will leave something in the world that continue. The search for the elixir of life and all the alchemists in the world from all the cultures was actually these attachments to continued existence. The thing is, I don't want to not exist. So I will try my best. My dear family, this is very deeply ingrained, and it goes invisible because we may say naturally, of course I'm attached to life. What else? What else would I do? I need to take care of myself. Yes, we need to take care of ourselves, but we must separate the attachment that might be hindering our view from understanding reality as it is, that actually nature is just a moving phenomenon that does not belong to anybody. Nature is just doing its job. So this asawa, as Heidi mentioned, not just to continue our existence in this life, which I'm not advocating not to take care of ourselves, of course, as much as we can, for cultivation, the better, but also having, wanting to become an Eva, which in our culture, you don't hear people like that. But when you are in Burma and in Thailand, you clearly, people confess directly, I practice Buddhism because I want to be a Deva next life. Many people do practice only to do generosity because they want to become a Deva. That is attachment to a better way of becoming existence. And that in Asian countries, you will see, it is very strong. Yes.
Okay, so that is the second canker. The first one, attachment to sense desire.
La segunda ampolla.
Second, canker of attachment to the continued existence. Okay, so let's go to the third one. The third one is called Dittasawa. Ditti, wrong view. Asawa, canker. So the canker of wrong view. So wrong view, as we know, there are many types now. So previously we have already talked about it. So here just mentioned a few main ones. The ones that the view that whatever we do, whatever kind of actions, there will be no results. We don't plant any seeds, there will be no results.
If I do good or bad, doesn't matter. It is just nothing.
Or whatever happens is just by chance. And or some people may believe that there are cause, but there will be no effect. So I can do things, but so some are like there are effects, but there are no causes. No, so things just happened.
You only
But
live
there are,
once. It doesn't matter. Enjoy life.
So all these kinds of ideas are wrong view. So the wrong view itself is canker. Is a canker in this case. So later we will come to a summary.
The sense desire and the wrong view in this case and the attachment to existence intoxicate our mind to see reality as it is and continue fermenting and oozing or expelling these unpleasant liquids, pus or something like that in the mind.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the fourth one is called Āsavas. Sorry, here it says number 3, but actually it's number 4. I made a mistake, didn't change here. So Āsavas, number 4, is canker of ignorance. So ignorance itself is like a canker. Is the fermented stuff that has been long with us. So what it does is, as we have already known, that it buries the mind. It does not let let the mind see reality as it is.
So like a ninja or Batman, when they use, you are about to see them and they throw the smoke. Ignorance, that on the mind, it tricked us. It makes us sleepy. There are many doubt arises, and so we cannot see reality as it is. And again, the defilements were left untouched. This Āsava will continue fermenting as long as there is no light of wisdom coming in. The wounds in the mind that we carry, the 4 wounds that we carry in our minds, will continue just getting if unattended, as any wound, it will just get worse.
So ignorance, it covers up or it hides the nature of things like a very good magician. So we don't see things as impermanent, we don't see things as suffering and so on, no? So we believe that everything is okay, everything is good, and we like to continue and stay here for longer and longer. And so we actually do things like this kind.
As you remember, the function of ignorance is to see good and bad and bad and good. So very often in many of our choices in life, I find myself under the spell of ignorance, thinking that I'm doing something good for myself and somebody else, and later on reality shows to be opposite. Sometimes it happens, unfortunately, when we are intoxicated by the Āsava of ignorance.
Okay, so these Āsavas are these 4 things: sense, desire, attachment to continued existence, wrong view, and ignorance. So Bante, we're wanting to explain these words. So now I think we can go there.
Yeah. So well, we can check. Is there any word that is difficult there, my dear family? Taints is like a mancha, no? Like dirt, like to make dirty something. Then the canker is just like the wound that we have. Fluxes would be like oozing something. And the oozing is then, and corruption of the mind. Now, my dear family, just to go a little bit further in terms of practice, do we really have these cankers? Honestly, from my side, yes, I do have them. Which one is stronger? It is good to start investigating. Which one is more obvious? I will just speak personally at this moment. I will say that sense desire is the most immediate. I am constantly looking for pleasantness through the senses. I don't know how deep is our attachment to life, but that is shown when we are threatened by something. Our instinct, even if we may say, I'm not attached to life, but whenever our body or integrity it is attacked, I think all human beings and animals are capable of taking something instinctive that will defend life. And it's fine, no problem, but just we need to know it. And then DT, I think we will. Personally, I'm talking about me, definitely wrong views about many things, and ignorance definitely there. So these things, it will be good. Now the invitation is to put into perspective in our own experience and start contemplating them using the examples that the Buddha gave. Now he's giving us instructions. Okay, look at your fermentations of the mind, at the impurities of the mind through this lens, and start recognizing them first. Awareness of them, be aware of them, objectively about them, and then next step will be understanding and being freed from them. So that will be the steps. Recognize, understand as much as possible, and move away. So we all have different, so invitation for practice in this chapter will be constant. Yes.
Yeah, so the Āsavas, in this case, so there are 4, as we have seen already. So these 4, as mentioned previously, that it is like intoxicating, it's like fermented drink. So they are like rotten things that have been with us for a long, long time. And also they are like blood or pus flowing out from a sore. So in the same way, the Āsavas flow out from the sixth sense door when we have attachment. When we see something beautiful, we like it, and so all the Āsavas is flowing out from the eye door. And all
ignorance, wrong view,
when we
attachment.
hear something very nice, and also this loba and all these things, it's attachment and everything flowing out from the ears. And so from all the senses, like this dirty things is flowing out. So this is the example given by the Buddha. So here we will see a little bit the names of it. The Āsavas, the first one, Kama-sawa, canker of attachment. Bhava-sawa, canker of attachment to continued existence. Ditta-sawa, canker of wrong view. Avijja is actually the same as moha, no? Avijja-sawa, canker of ignorance. So here we have seen that these are the four cankers, but then we have to see also in ultimate reality.
What is the ultimate reality of them? This is where we are going. Now, my family, as a something recommendation, there is one website that is called Digital Pali Reader. Digital Pali Reader, and in this web, I don't know, some of you know it already, there are all the scriptures in Pali, but the beautiful thing about this website is that you find all the suttas and all the Abhidhamma and all the Vinaya in Pali, but you just press the word and it gives you the definition on the bottom. It's a dictionary made onto the sutta. So you just click any word that you see and you can see the meaning of Pali. Well, this is very, very useful. Sometimes it's not accurate, but yes, in general, we can say 70% is good. Okay, because the 40 books of the teaching is very wide. But now you know about this web.
Clarification, not that the dictionary is not correct, just sometimes that because of the usage or because of some terms in Pali,
the context of the
words
word
stick together.
Yes.
So sometimes depending on that, the dictionary apply or not apply, because it is the machine, no? So we cannot know exactly.
As you know, in Pali, sometimes they put words together. For example, Kama-sawa is Kama and Āsava. It becomes one word. That's what the computer is not very well at finding out. But anyway, it gives you options. Anyway, that is the recommendation. What I would recommend in terms of this, if you go, there is a search bar, and if you put Āsava, you will find all the suttas. This is the beautiful thing about this website as well. You put Āsava, please search, and the thing will search that word in all the suttas, in all the Abhidhamma. Whenever that word was mentioned by the Buddha somewhere, it will bring you all the suttas that the mention use this example. So you can go back. If you are interested in it now, my dear family, remember, we finished already the content of the ultimate realities. Now a new horizon is open of understanding and study. You look for that one and any of the ones we will see, and it will show you all the moments and to whom the Buddha spoke and why he said so. It will become very, very interesting to see how the Buddha and to whom he showed these Āsavas, these Kama-sawa or Bhava-sawa. So as a recommendation, you can find it, and it comes hundreds of places. I was doing that exercise before, and hundreds of places arise with all the suttas, Dhammapada verses, Vinaya. Wow, it will become very interesting to find it. Digital Pali Reader is called. Yes.
Sometimes in the suttas, you will see terms also like Kama-sawa, Bhava-sawa, Ditti-sawa, or Avijja-sawa, but sometimes you only see Āsava. So that's why it is important to know what Āsava means. It means these 4 things. No? So sometimes the sutta does not say. So it only says that the cankers.
The cankers or so. You will find.
Which are the cankers that we don't know. So if we know this chapter, then we know, okay, that means this, and this. No?
Now, do you remember the book we suggested last week or 2 weeks ago? That is Sadhu Unandamala Viwansa, Fundamental Abhidhamma, and we send the PDF. This book is very useful as well because it's only, as we mentioned, just the menu of things. So whenever you find in a sutta, Āsava, where was the Āsava?
Go to chapter very 9 clearly of that book because the chapters are
moved. So in that book is chapter 9, and you go check very easily. Now you know ultimate reality, and this is where we are going right now. What are the ultimate realities of sense desire? What is the ultimate reality of attachment to existence? What is the ultimate reality of wrong view and of ignorance? So start thinking about it.
Yes, that's quite easy to understand.
Think about it. Let's open it better. What do you think are the ultimate realities of these four? Please open your mics. What do we think? We already know.
In terms of Cetasika.
In terms of Cetasika, to go.
Kamasawa is which one?
Loba.
Yes.
Yes, it's Loba. Okay. Anybody else?
Anybody else? Something else that you see? What do we see?
Bawasawa.
Attachment to life. What ultimate reality can be there?
Loba also.
Loba also. Well, definitely. Yes. Loba will be.
Then
wrong view.
Diti.
Yes, easy. Then Avijja sawa.
Avijja, ignorance.
Moha.
Yes.
This is not so complicated actually. So let's see. Behind
but there are four. There are four things.
Curtains, yes. Behind the curtains.
So now the actors of the theater play are, yes, as we said, the ultimate realities, Loba, Diti, wrong view, and Moha. But now we see, we have four Āsavas, but only three ultimate realities are there. Mm-hmm. So what's happening there?
Yes, but because that it is easy to understand, because canker of attachment to sense, desire, attachment to continued existence are both Loba. They are just in they are just Loba, but the object is different. No, one is sense desire, and another is the continued existence. So here comes also the beauty of the understanding the suttas and the Abhidhamma as well, because in terms of Abhidhamma, it's only Loba, attachment to whatever it may be. Just Loba. But then now in the suttas also the Buddha gives a little bit more detail sometimes in terms of what kind of object that the mind is attached to.
Yes.
So it can attach to sense desire, it can attach to continued existence. And now you see DT, although there is ultimate reality that is DT itself, but DT is which group? Loba group, no? All the time. It always arises together with Loba, no? So also DT is actually attachment to wrong view, to our own idea, to what we think is right when it is wrong. So this is also Loba group. So here is a little bit more like, okay, we talk about attachment, but what kind to what? No?
Yes, and the object is what makes the difference, but the functioning of the mind, wanting Loba and attaching to something is the same. What object, be it sensual pleasure or continued life, that is what makes the difference, and then we start getting more detail about it.
And avijja, you will also see this term a lot of times in the suttas, even in the Paticcasamuppada, dependent origination, it also starts with avijja.
It's the first element of Paticcasamuppada.
It's moha. So here, actually, if you pay a little bit of attention, you will see, actually, this is the Loba trio. This moha itself, then it is Titi always associate, of course, with Moha and also with Loba, no? And Loba also with Titi.
So actually it's Loba family. The Āsavas comes from attachment. So when the Buddha says the cause of suffering or the cause of the dirtiness of our mind is attachment and desire, yes, we are looking at the family right now. Mm-hmm. Loba itself, the attachment to our views, even if they are wrong, we are attached to our wrong views because of that. And Moha, as we know, is a universal ingredient, universal Cetasika of akusala mental states. So Moha, ignorance, is always accompanying Loba. That's why when mentioning in Paticcasamuppada, the essence or the cause of suffering is ignorance and desire. Here we are looking at the very bones of the corruption in this family, because you will see that, for example, Loba start appearing in another descriptions that the Buddha gave. You will start seeing now the same ultimate reality was explained in different ways depending to who the Buddha was talking to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in this case, in these Āsavas, in Abhidhamma, we find that there are four: Kamasawa, Bhavasawa, Dittasawa, Avijjasawa. But in suttas explanations, there are mentioned three Āsavas. So Ditti is not there in the sutta. So Abhidhamma is always a little bit more detailed. So we know that Ditti also is a canker in Abhidhamma explanation. And in sutta explanation is sense desire, continued existence, attachment to continued existence, and ignorance.
Yes.
Okay, so Can I continue?
Yes,
You were going to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something. Now, our dear family, as a side comment, can we start looking why there are some differences between the people who study Abhidhamma only or people who study Sutta only? Do you see why the different views? Because the Buddha actually didn't, in Abhidhamma, mention some things that were not. So when the people who only study Abhidhamma talk to a people who only study Sutta, there are sometimes that there is misunderstandings. Oh no, the Buddha meant this by this and that. So the invitation of the teacher says, as we learned, Seattle Camp suggests, first we learn Abhidhamma, then we go fully onto the suttas, because now we will be seeing the x-ray of them, and then we will start understanding the whole picture. Seattle Camp told us directly, I don't want you to become an Abhidhamma extremist. Please don't become an Abhidhamma extremist. You must learn Sutta. That's why we have been for the last 2 years studying Sutta with Seattle Camp. Twice a week, even now, Monday and Friday, Monday and Wednesday, we have class with him about Sutta, because he don't want us, especially if we are sharing the Dhamma to others, he don't want us just to see one side. So an invitation for everybody. We will recommend the same. If we learn Abhidhamma, then Sutta will be great, but we must make a balance between both of them. Otherwise, confusion and discussions.
But without
and
Abhidhamma, Sela don't
endless.
teach us Sutta in the beginning, because without Abhidhamma, we cannot understand the Sutta well. With this chapter, you will understand more.
Seattle told us, if we go to Sutta, I won't be able to explain you satisfactorily, because you don't know the ultimate reality. So what would I tell you? Just the concepts, the Āsavas?
Then you can read by yourself.
How do you imagine? Imagine some teacher come and tell you, tienes una ampolla en la mente.
It sounds like, yes,
How?
I think so, yes, but
How?
what is it? Like,
How pus is flowing out of my mind? In which way the mind releases pus? Impossible. Then we come to, okay. Anyway, the point is done. Invitation open. Let's continue. Thank you, my dear.
Okay, so let's see that why is it so dangerous, no? This lobha, ditthi, and moha is dangerous. How dangerous are they? Because it can arise in all beings up to the highest plane of existence.
Yes.
So even in the non-material Brahman realm, even there, ditthi can arise.
Yes.
Lobha group, no? So if ditthi is there, lobha is also there, moha also.
Brahmins can have wrong view.
Yes, they think they exist forever, some Brahmins, because their lifespan are so long that they see that the world cycles are finishing, everything
and they
is
continue
finishing,
alive.
and I don't finish, never. So they think that they are eternal.
They think they are God. They think, I am God. That's why the Hindu Brahma is called Brahma, because he's a Brahma. That's why it's called Brahma. That Brahma lived for so long that he thought, I'm the God of the world. I saw the beginning of the world, and I see the ending of the world. I'm God. So then the wrong view comes, and that's and with all respect and thing, but yes, the teacher says that Brahma is not yet outside, is not yet out of samsara. He's still in, even he is very refined and wise or whatever, but still inside.
Brahman is probably in the rupa bhava, because he sees and things like that.
Yes.
So in the finer non-material, they actually, I think most of the time they don't care about the other, like whether you like that, because they are mostly in the jhanic state, in meditative state. So what they can attach to is their own peace and own pleasant feeling, or like they live so peacefully for such a long time, no, their life is very good, so they can attach to their own life, their existence as Brahmin for a long time. That is possible also, no? So anyway, it is dangerous because it can arrive everywhere. It's everywhere.
And worst of it, it has the tendency to pull the consciousness of beings down. It exists everywhere, but generally, as we know, desire pulls the mind down. If we die with desire or with the wrong view, with ignorance, it goes low. So more dangerous, because wherever we are, whatever development we have gained, if we are not careful and reinvesting our inner potentiality, we can go backwards. Possible. No, we are not exempt of it yet. That's why the danger is an existential danger beyond the perils or the pain that we can experience with our physical body, beyond it.
Okay, so let's continue a little bit. Now that we have studied Abhidhamma, then we can also go into more details, which without studying Abhidhamma, we will have to skip this information. So with Abhidhamma, we can know that Lobha can take all mundane chitta, cetasika, and rupa as object. No, all mundane chitta, cetasikas, and rupa. That means the only thing it cannot take are maga and phala chittas.
Nibbana object,
Nibbana
no?
chitta, no? So all the other things is possible. So that means even Gotrabu and Vodana is also possible become object of Lobha. So what is Gotrabu and Vodana? If you still remember in the Sotapati Maga mental process, in the enlightenment process of the first stage of enlightenment, there we have seen that how it happens is Bhavanga, no? Manodawara Vajana, the mind door turning. Then we have Parikama, preparation, Upachara, access,
very strong concentration.
Access, and then the conformity,
Anuloma.
Then Gotrabu, or the changing of lineage.
Change of lineage.
So this Gotrabu itself is the only chitta that is still mundane that takes Nibbana as object. Remember? So it already takes Nibbana as object, then Maga, after that Maga arises after Gotrabu, then Maga and Phala is already supramundane, Lokutara chittas, no? So only Lokiya chitta that can ever take Nibbana as object is only Gotrabu and the Vodana in the case of the second, third stage of and fourth stage of enlightenment. No? So here the point is not really revision of the mental process, but the thing that Lobha can take even Gotrabu chitta as its object. As
far as the changing of lineage, we're about to live the worldly life to become an Ariya or a noble being beyond the world, and still their Lobha can come and still make so we can see the danger of Lobha, how far it can go.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so therefore they are really...
Anyway, my dear family, congratulations to all of us, because now we can explain very clearly using all the knowledge of the Abhidhamma in the mental process, in the ultimate realities, the chittas, the cetasikas. You see how useful and how clear the answers will become. Our answers before these 6 chapters were preliminary. Now we will start looking at the real stuff because we can know all the ultimate realities. Congratulations to everybody.
Yes, okay. So here, those are the Āsavas, these 4. And in ultimate realities, only 3, because these 2 is Lobha and Ditthi and Moha. Ditthi and Moha is the same. Now, to close with this Āsava, and in the book, Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi, in one of the book, and he wrote, and he says, a passage in the suttas indicates the significance of the term Āsava as states that defile, bring renewal of existence, give trouble, ripen in suffering, and lead to future birth, aging, and death.
Ow.
This information comes from the Majjhima Nikaya, and here are the reference. And this passage where Bhikkhu Bodhi say this is in the book, in the Buddha's words there. So let's read again this part.
You go ahead. Okay, so
Āsava is what?
Āsava is the states that defile, bring renewal of existence. So we born again, give trouble, ripen in suffering. So the seeds of suffering give results in suffering and lead to future birth, aging, and death. The wheel of samsara. Because of these Āsavas, which as we saw is mostly moha, Lobha and Moha. Sense desire. Whatever attachment we have to sense desire will make us return. We already did it. Attachment to life, definitely. I don't want to die. I want to continue alive. Well, be careful what you wish. Be careful what you wish, because nature do grant the wishes if you follow on that path. And then we have ditthi, wrong view, and definitely ignorance, because we don't know that this process is happening. Hence, we cannot complain about the suffering of the world. We are part of it. We make it. The suffering in the world is perpetuated by humans, actually. Climate change may be natural, but what's human caused? And all the wars and things, a lot of suffering. Yes, human caused, mental. Who is in the back of wars? Ignorance and desire. And of course, those are to be like the hitman. So always these 3 born in the human's mind. Because if in this planet they were not humans, I swear to you that there will not exist nuclear weapons or wars. Definitely, they will be not abused. It comes because of consciousness, because of the impurities of the consciousness, but because consciousness in themselves are, as we know, neutral, clean. They are polluted. As Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi says, suffering ripens, they give trouble, renews the existence, defile, and future birth, aging, and death. Very, very...
Bhikkhu Bodhi is
Nice.
quoting the Buddha's words now also in the passage of the sutta, and you can find this in the Majjhima Nikaya. So what it means by Āsavas, when it is meant, these things
just as a side note, whenever you see MN means Majjhima Nikaya, and Nikaya, Majjhima is middle length discourses that the Buddha gave. The monks, when the Buddha died, they organized all his discourses according to the long ones. They put them in one book. The middle ones they put it into another one, and the small ones they put into another one. That was one of classification they gave. And the numbers you can just follow whenever you find the online. There are most of them already, many of them translated. You can find them by the numbers. It's easy to follow.
Okay, so
Good.
until here, let's take a little rest, and it's a little bit intense about the Āsavas. So let's relax, breathe. And
let's continue. Okay, my dear family, continuing with the next. No se crean, no se crean. Let's take a few minutes, my dears. Let's take a few minutes. 3 minutes, no? 3 minutes. And see you soon when the bell continue.
Okay, so see you in a little while. Okay, so
we
let's continue.
Queridos, bien.
Okay. Okay, so we have seen the Āsavas, and now these Āsavas, these 4 of them, attachment to sense desire, attachment to continued existence, wrong view, and moha, ignorance, have also another name. So not only Āsava, but they are also called
differently.
Oghas.
The Buddha in another place to these 4 guys.
Same
ultimate realities and same things. These 4 things, call them in another way. In this case, Ogha, which means flood. And he used for the same poison of the mind another example, and he adjusts to the people he was talking to. So
yes, so
he made many ways.
So these 4 are also called floods, as Bhante said.
The 4 floods.
And in another occasion, because
the 4 floods that are these 3 ultimate realities. Because
because they are very dangerous. They sink, they overwhelm beings, and then they sink them to the 4 woeful states. So when there is a flood, the flood takes everything together with it, and make it sink. So in the same way, this lobha, ditthi, and moha, when they arise, they drag beings down into the 4 woeful states. So therefore, they are called floods as well.
The Buddha mentioned that these 4 are floods.
Yes, so they are more dangerous than a tsunami.
So here we see, imagine this movement, but inside the mind. When desire comes, it does not ask for our permission to come in. When ignorance comes, it does not ask, and it comes with a lot of power. When a wrong view comes in, it does not ask our permission to come in. They just come and battle, take away the mind, all the way that it can bring all this suffering, and worst, all this lack of understanding of reality, and worst thing, even to pull down to another lower realms.
So that's how harmful or how dangerous, how scary these ones are. More scary than.
That's why the Buddha used this metaphor
examples
to refer to these floods of the mind, especially desire. You can see when it comes, it does not ask our permission to come in. It just kicks the door and come in. Depending on our ability to control it or not, we can change that.
So if you see Oghas in the suttas, then you know this floods means kamoga, kamma plus ogha, kamoga, flood of attachment to sense desire, bhavoga, flood of attachment to continued existence, ditoga, flood of wrong view, avijoga, flood of ignorance.
Flood of ignorance.
Which at the end, again, in terms of ultimate reality, they are 2 lobha, 1 ditthi, and 1 moha.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. So here, this flood is scary. No, it's quite terrible. Then it can bring us and drag us down to the woeful state. So therefore, the Buddha said, through diligence, mindfulness, morality, and control of one's senses, let one of wisdom make of oneself an island which no flood can overwhelm. This is a verse in the Dhammapada, verse number 25. So, through diligence, mindfulness, morality, and the control of the senses, let the wise one make of himself an island where no flood can overwhelm. So in this, exactly in this Dhammapada verse, this flood, this Ogha are the 4 things that we
it's
just
literally
saw.
that. So you see, my dear family, if we go to the Dhammapada without understanding Abhidhamma, what is a flood? You go and then you say, what kind of flood?
Then you may say that it sounds very beautiful. We go to an island that the flood cannot come.
Yes.
We are safe. But what are the floods?
What are the mental flood? And another thing, this verse is very beautiful, as you see, if we understand the background meaning, but very often it's misunderstood as selfishness. Oh, so that means I need to only care about myself? Many people say about that. Many people, whenever we read this verse, says, oh, I don't need to care. No. The Buddha is pointing out towards the floods. Which are the floods? Sense, desire, wrong view, ignorance, etc., etc. So now we can see this is what the magic of the Abhidhamma, the classes come, and then you clearly know the ultimate realities of it. We can take any part. Actually, this verse is very beautiful. If you can, please take a screenshot, because it's giving the whole path through diligence, apamadena. No, the Buddha says, remember, my dear one, remember, through diligence, mindfulness, sati, morality, sila, control of the senses, meaning
control of the sense faculties.
The sense faculties,
You also see
not allowing desire or aversion to come regarding our senses, and then wisdom. So we have ultimate realities, panya, sila, and all the different kinds that we know. Sati is already there, right? Yoniso manasikara, right attention, and then the flood to combat what? In that way, with mindfulness, we make our mind an island, so none of these 4 floods, which we already know, will overcome it. This is the very essence of the beauty of the full path is mentioned in one single verse. And now we can clearly see all the elements. Very nice.
Yes. So even in reading the Dhammapadas, Abhidhamma and knowledge is now you see is actually basic. So if we don't know, then we will just say, it sounds very beautiful, it is very nice, but we don't know exactly in details
which flood,
which is the
which
flood,
island,
what is the danger that the Buddha is talking about. No? So we just think that it is beautiful, but then to put it in practice is necessary. Okay, so here are the 4 floods that we have
Oghas.
seen. And again, these 4, again, because they are so dangerous, they are not only called floods. Sometimes they have another name in another place. They are also called yoga. This yoga means born or yoke. This is not the yoga that we do yoga. No, this is not that yoga.
Yoga from yugo. Actually, in Spanish, we have the same word. Yugo, el yugo que nos mantiene atados el yugo de los vacas.
Yes, in English, because
yoke, sorry. The
so
yoke
this is
of
a yoke.
Yes.
If you have seen an ox cart, you have seen a yoke. This is the yoke that attach or binds the ox to the ox cart. No, so once the ox are binded in this yoke, then even as strong as they are, they cannot be free. There's no way that they can be free from the cart.
A beast with such power can be controlled by a child. If they manage to put the yoke into the neck of the beast, even an elephant can be controlled by a child. So in the same way, my dear family, our mind is yoked
by these
4 things to...
So these four, the Buddha said, is to yoke to samsara.
to the cycle of continued existences. This is the very thing that have tied us to this birth, old age, sickness and death, and rebirth, old age, sickness and death, and rebirth, old age, sickness and death. Gain and loss, gain and loss, gain and loss, never stop. These four things are the yoke, el yugo that binds us blindly because ignorance is invisible. DT is invisible. We are attached to our points of view without knowing it and even often feeling proud about it. And the sense desire is not something, the Buddha was clear.
Yes. So yes. So this is what binds us to the continuous birth and death and birth and death, birth and death, birth and the cycle
of samsara.
Okay, so another name of
is everybody okay? Everybody okay? Yeah, good. Looks good. Everybody looking good, but se pone bueno, no? Se pone bueno.
Yeah, so these four things is also called yoga. So Kama yoga, bond of sense desire.
Bhava yoga,
bond of attachment and continued existence.
DT yoga,
bond of wrong view. Avijja yoga, bond of ignorance.
Ow.
So whenever you see this word yoga in the suttas, so you know these four things are
not the Hindu yoga, but the yoga, and it has something to do. Later on, we check the etymology in another chapter.
So again, ultimate reality is in the same way: 2 lobha, 1 DT, and 1 moha. No? Okay. So let's see. Now, as a summary, these four things are called Āsavas, cankers, something that are fermented,
or oozing, or painful and getting rotten.
Oghas, flood, those flood that bring us down to
lower realms.
And yoga, that is that yoke humans to samsara. So
yugo.
So in these, if these four terms, I mean, if they are the same ingredients, why does the Buddha say it in so many different ways, the same thing? So the answer is that throughout the 45 years of teaching, the Buddha has met so many people. He has talked to so many different people in so many different situations. So for some of these beings, they understand better the danger of something that is fermented or something that is rotten, or somebody understand the danger of a flood, of a wound, or somebody understand the danger of the yoke. So depending on the individual,
that's why
talking to,
the
Buddha used different.
For example, if you go to a doctor, the doctor will understand very well the danger of an infected wound. And if he spoke to a farmer, he will really understand well the yoke and the flood. If a flood comes and kills all the crops, then what the Buddha wanted to find with using all these examples was to inspire Samvega. You remember Samvega, which means spiritual urgency. The Buddha wanted to make, my dear friend, my dear sister, life is short. The negativity that we have in the mind is big. You need to apply yourself to be responsible of your mind and clean it as much as possible. Otherwise, you may go down again. So he wanted to inspire, bring this Samvega using these examples that, yes, it is shocking as an example because the ultimate reality is shocking. We must understand it. That's why the Buddha, depending on who he was talking, he tried his best. Any teacher will do, adapt himself or herself towards the listener. That is the greatest, maybe one of the greatest characteristics of a good teacher is that he or she has the empathy, sufficient empathy to know where the other one is, to help that person to give the next step, hopefully having cleared the path that needs to be trodden or walked, and then give the next step in that it is not too much and not too little, so the person gets an interest about it. So the Buddha was very, very good as a teacher, as a pedagogue. It was really, it's very inspired to see his skill on guiding beings, and he used any means possible. Many of these people got enlightened. Most of them, a lot, not most of them, but yeah, a lot of people got enlightened. So.
Yes. Okay. So because of different peoples and I'm sure now we listen to these different examples. One of them or two of them are more shocking to us. Now this one I really feel that it is dangerous or something like that. So for those people that the Buddha talked to also, so one of them are more suitable for their understanding. So now let's see.
Which one touched you the most?
Yes.
A ver, open your mics. Caro, you said which one, Carito?
The last one, the
yoke.
yoga. Yeah.
The yoke to samsara. Who else? Everybody.
Yes,
Let's tell everybody, please. We want to
For
hear.
me, the flood.
For you, the flood. Fair. Oh, yeah.
Because when the Āsavas takes like charge of the mind, it's like it is like you're flooded in that.
Yeah, for long.
Under the water, yeah. I don't know if I make myself clear.
Yes, the wave comes and you don't know where is up and where is down. Sometimes you try to swim, trying to go out, and you the sand in the bottom. The surfers will know very well about that. And then, what else? Everybody, what else? Marifer, you raise the hand.
And
Nancy.
I got impacted first with the what's the name, with the booze.
The pass, yeah. Pass
Yeah.
of the mind. Yeah, Andreita, Don Edward, Don Guillermo,
Marifer.
Diegas, Marifer,
Alex.
Alex, Cas.
The flood. For me, it was the flood.
For
Don
me,
Diegas,
also the third one.
the
yoke.
Santara, the yoke.
Mhm.
The yoke.
The first
Yeah.
one,
The wound.
Fermented.
the
Fermented.
fermentation. To think about how much time we have been
With this.
carrying that desire, and it's,
Yes.
And for me,
Yes. The yoke.
particularly the fact that even a powerful mind can be subdued by desire.
Even a Brahma mind. Even a Brahma mind can be yoked to samsara. Oh, Don Diegas, you raise the hand.
Yes, the three of them are very strong comparisons, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They are like very shocking, very clearly revealing.
Yes. Yes.
Like comparing it, oozing, you usually don't realize that all those defilements you have are like a sickness. You're having a very strong sickness and you don't realize you're sick.
Yeah, the mind is sick. Right. You're right. Yes.
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 You're infected and you don't know you're infected.
Yes. We don't know. Yes. Yeah.
And the yoga, I'm very interested in learning the root and the similarities. If it's because as far as I know, it might be the same word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in yoga lessons, they always teach you that the word yoga means union, connection.
Yeah. That's why
But I suppose
yugo
it's not-
binds you to something, no? Connects to something. That's why
Yes.
yugo, yoke, comes from it. We will check. No se pierdan el próximo capítulo.
Y-U-J.
Yeah. The root in Pali, Diegas, is yuj. The root and the,
Most likely it's the same word, but it can be used differently.
Yeah.
Like
is something
it's not
that
the same
binds.
to unite mind and body or whatever it might mean in
But in the
yoga
case of the
lesson,
Hindu,
to unite us in tight, to bind.
yes, in the Hindu culture, they use it to unite or bind us ourselves towards
Exactly.
the Brahma, not towards the God. So it is a yoke that you use willfully to bind yourself to God. But in this case, the Buddha never used the yoga as so poetically. He used the yoga as something that binds you to the world. Because even if we bind to God, we are not free from samsara. Wow, that's a very strong statement. Even if you are very pious and very spiritual and very believe or anything, you are still in samsara. But we choose. Even I want to stay here to worship God or something. Yeah, you are still yoked to it. And the yoke in samsara will continue. The Buddha was a kind of raising the hand and saying, if you wish to do so, just know the consequences of wishing to continue either in heaven or, no one wants to go to hell. But if you want to be in heaven, just remember, there are some different heavens. We know there are the Deva realms and the Brahma realms, but you are not out yet of samsara. Sooner or later, you will get old and will die again and maybe come down back again. So yes, it is right. It is.
Yes, and that's why it's a very strong comparison, because it's like telling you, you know, there is slavery and there is freedom, and you can choose which one of both you want.
Yes, yes, right, exactly. Yes, my dear. Wow, very nice. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, I think these examples are so good because many times we are loba, loba, loba. Okay, we know loba, there's loba. How dangerous is it? What is it like? Then now we know, like, wow, what is like, it's really, we're talking serious.
Invitation.
Serious.
Let's forget about love and desire because that words become soft through time. Let's start using this. Wow, the flood is on. I am on the yoke. Next time, my dear family, we feel lost, remember the yoke to samsara. Now, with this beautiful side, I'm totally reinforcing my yoke to samsara. Birth and death and old age and sickness once and again and again and again. Because of looking something beautiful, sometimes no salen las cuentas. But anyway, let's continue,
Andrea,
my dear family. Andreita. Andreita.
I feel the same as Diego. The three of them were really strong in different aspects.
In different, yeah.
But if I have to choose one, then flood.
Flood. Yeah.
It was very impressive how it takes everything away.
Takes our clarity of mind and everything. Yes.
So it's like a nice conclusion that we see that with concrete examples, like what is it compared to? So things that we are familiar with, no, then we know that they are really dangerous.
And
because
why?
sometimes we said, desire, then we don't realize how dangerous it is. So with this kind of examples, then we know, this is kind of really scary and serious, so we have to do something about it. So this is good also to know. So also, as Bante said,
yeah, this example yesterday, as we were kind of arranging the slides and things, we thought about this. My dear family, it is not that the Buddha wanted to only scare people, but as a good doctor of the mind, when you go to the doctor won't be making your sickness like beautiful. You actually have nothing. If the person has cancer, the doctor needs to be very objective and say, you know, you have cancer. You need to do this and this and this soon. Otherwise, it can become worse. Or if you have something else, you can infect other people. So this is what needs to be done. Any good doctor will come and tell you first what you are sick from. Many times I also wish that the path is only flowers and beauty and concentration and samadhi, deep samadhi. Yes, but the Buddha, as a good doctor, comes and says, this is what is wrong. This is where is it going if you don't pay attention to it. It will get worse if you don't attend. Then later on, the Buddha, as we know, never stopped there. And this is how we're going to see the 7th chapter. That's why it's so beautiful. In the first part of the chapter, the Buddha described the sickness, the problems. And now get ready. We will see problems maybe for 2 or 3 weeks only, floods and oozing and
maybe not so much.
Not so much. Maybe one more. One more, it will be like yokes and more things come. So we see the sickness and how dangerous it is. Then it comes the middle part where the Buddha started describing, okay, what is necessary to be done? These things can be overcome by, so then if we go to any doctor, the doctor will give us the cure. You need to take this medicine, eat better, and make this exercise. Then we are still not yet cured. We are still on the yoke. We are still on the flood. We start practicing. This is how the Buddha very skillfully brings, showing the danger, the path, and then inspiring from practice. And we will see in this chapter in the same way. Sickness, methodology, inspiration for cure. And the cure for all these loba, dosa, moha, and all these Āsavas and things will be the development, as we know, sila, samadhi, and eventually wisdom. In the last part of this chapter, in the factors of enlightenment, it is precisely what the Buddha describes. What is necessary to be done, what needs to be cultivated, and how to do it, especially in the 9th chapter. Now, my dear family, we can start looking. For the first time, we were climbing up in the mountain without looking the top for 6 chapters. Now we arrived to 7th chapter, and that's why I feel so much joy for all of us. I mean, then now we are on the top. We are not yet on the summit. We are not yet definitely. We still have 8th chapter coming, which is Patana, very deep. But now for the first time, we can see how much we climb, and we can get a sense of the mountain for the first time. So the whole path, the sickness, the methodology, and the inspiration for practice. You will see how nice it becomes. So the Buddha, as a very skillful doctor, he didn't want it just to scare us. He's just doing his job very skillfully, I think.
So let's see how everybody feels. And
Let's touch base, my dear
have
family.
any questions, or if not, we can also finish early. Also,
Yes.
in the chat, Fernando sent us the link of the first the first sutta that he talked about when the Buddha said to the monk that he was an empty book.
Empty book.
Sutta, the link. Then the digital Pali reader also. Thank you very much.
Thank you for digital
Yes.
Pali reader. Totally
And-
recommended, my dear family. Very
And,
beautiful too.
also the sutta and a sutta about the Āsavas. Thank you. So later
Don't
we can
fair,
read.
thank you so much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, thank you. How do you feel? We finished the 6 chapters. Beginning, we kind of got a
A
glimpse.
little taste of chapter
How
7.
are we? Let's touch base and please feel free.
I really like that I realized even better how compassionate the Buddha was, because he explained the way that the different people actually needed it. So it's really inspiring for me to see that. And also what you mentioned, that from now on, we can start looking deeply into the suttas to make a better relation between what we have learned and how he explained it and why. And I think it's very, very beautiful.
Oh, thank you, very beautiful, thank you.
I feel really excited and grateful because that verse of the Dhammapada about the island, I really liked it before, and I heard it some time ago, and many times, and I really, really liked it. But I understood it so differently. And now it was an inside explosion. I don't know how to explain.
Yeah.
How did you understand it previously?
Oh.
Like with all the practice, like I needed to build an island, like a fortress, so that everything that came from outside, I could be strong. And it was amazing to see that it's talking about the inside, not the outside.
Yes, the flood is coming from the mind. The flood is not outside. Boom! Desire comes from within. The danger is already, the enemy is already in-house. That changed a lot.
Yes.
And also it applies on the other way. Oh, very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Yes. It can actually. It is complementary, because everything that comes from outside are objects only. So how we react to these objects are actually the floods that we feels like flood comes from outside, but the floods is already inside flowing out actually. So don't let those floods flow out because of the outside.
Because of the outside.
We can say.
Wow.
So very nice. Thank you.
Sadhu. Very happy. Very happy. Oh, satisfied. I feel satisfaction. Thank you, my dear family. What else? Please let us know, how are you? Don Edward.
Yes.
Yeah, this class was like really beautiful as all the classes before, but also really useful because it reminds me, as it was mentioned before, this like a spiritual urgency that sometimes I forgot about it. And so to see again that we have like this sickness, or I don't know how to tell it, like this attachment to the sense desire and everything, and how we need like to keep working and be really diligent, and this like spiritual urgency, it was really useful and and really beautiful also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just to compliment Don Edward, the Buddha always said that spiritual urgency must be accompanied by equanimity, and we must be very careful. Otherwise, spiritual urgency can become stressful. Oh, life is passing, I'm getting older, I'm not advancing, I'm still very attached. And people, I have felt it, maybe you have felt it at some time, I'm wasting life, and then we go to dosa. So one very important thing is that Samvega must always come together with peace, which means equanimity. I know I'm trying the best, and maybe I will, at least I know I'm doing my best, and try to focus as much as possible without allowing agitation and unwholesome mental states to pollute our beautiful intention to be a better human being, a free human being. So very, very, very important to cultivate. And there is a book that I would try to find it, a book about this relation between both of them that was written by a Thai master. I would try to find it out. It explains, it just goes, imagine, he saw it so important to say, watch out, because only Samvega can be painful. We need to balance it. So I will try to find it, Edward.
Yes, Sayadaw Kamsachara, he explained that actually Samvega is a kind of understanding. In ultimate reality, it is panya. So
it is not fear, yeah.
It is not fear.
It feels like fear, like
fear, no, but actually it is a kind of understanding. So as we know, Kusala mind with understanding does not generate agitation or fear. So sometimes these words, translations especially, we have to be careful. So if there are fear, then it goes to dosa, which could be a close enemy, as we have seen, like compassion and all these things.
They get polluted. They can get polluted.
So, so Samvega is the understanding of that I need to do something.
The importance of cultivating inside.
Yes, but without agitation as well.
Yes. Urgency is also the very word is urgent, urgent, urgent. So we must be careful not to allow the mind to get rushy, but to stay peaceful. Look at it. So the best thing will be set up the priorities where they belong. So I will continue living. I still need to work and make my family and anything on the world. But let's set up the priorities well, give enough time as much as we can in life, and continue doing it in the most humble and sincere way. I would say we are on it. Sometimes, for example, I tell on my own experience, I'm still battling with the balance of these two. So let's continue trying. Thank you, Edward. Very beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Buddha taught. The Buddha wanted us to
feel this way.
Remember when he said the verse, he says, why there is so much laughter? Why so much joy if the house is on fire? And the children still playing with their phones inside the house with their phones. And the Buddha comes, hey, you still on Facebook? The house is on fire. Release your phone. The house is on fire. Yes, samsara is on fire. Now we are making the new version of the verse with all respect. People with their phone and the house on fire.
Probably in another, for another person who is a little bit less, even need a little bit more push, like sometimes like us. So this is one example. The Buddha said the house is on fire.
We can say the
and
flood.
Another sutta, the Buddha said that your hair is on fire.
We need
to take out the defilements as fast as if your head was on fire. What are you going to do immediately, not later?
Yes.
No. So
why do you think monks shave? You see, we are free. That's why we shave. Whenever people ask, why do you shave? Because the Buddha. Yes, my dear family, somebody else, welcome. The discourse about fire, the fire discourse. Anybody, how are we, my dear family? Let us know, please. Don't fear. Welcome.
That sutta about fire gives me a lot of a sense of urgency, because it's Buddha said everything is burning.
Everything
with loss, with greed, and delusion.
Yeah. In samsara is tough, and we need to make peace with it. Yes, samsara is like this. Death is a fact, and it may come when, if you know, a dear friend in Guayabos died. He was, I don't know, very young, and last week he just passed away. So it is, yes, not to be scared, but to be efficient. Let's take it seriously, not sobering, but seriously and efficiently. How do you feel, Don Fer, arriving to the 7th chapter? Nancy also, right? Yeah.
I'm very happy. All these images that you create make the things more clear, and yeah, it's one can understand better the suttas, as you said, and I'm very happy.
Thank you, Fer. Thank you. More
to be here.
Yeah, more
Thank
things to come. Thank you also. Thank you. Thank you, my brother, for everything. Thank you,
yes,
really.
thank you.
Thank you, sadhu, 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 for helping others. Thank you so much.
Nancy?
Yeah,
wanted to say
Nancy.
something?
Yes, I also feel very happy. And when we saw the sutta, it's like going to a mountain and then you can see the big picture. And it's so surprising that the way you can see it now is really deep comparing to the other, to before.
Yes.
So that's really amazing. Yeah, it's like having kind of a, how do you say, when you get an understanding, like
You get an insight onto.
an insight, yes. So that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Don Alex.
I keep reminding myself about being aware of defilements, but it's a tough battle, and sometimes if I approach it in the very kind of technical way that, oh yeah, I know loba is loba, and dosa is dosa, and moja is moja. It's like just knowing how strong the earthquake is just by the number, but feeling it is a different thing. So like these metaphors and the way the Buddha explained it in the suttas, it's a way of feeling the earthquake more than just knowing about it.
Yes, very nice image, yes.
So it's beautiful, and I'm really happy just to be here and share.
Good we arrived to here.
Yes.
Otherwise, if we don't know also the Abhidhamma, the ultimate
beginning.
reality, we might be like Loki said, feeling or not feeling an earthquake, but maybe seeing an earthquake on in the TV or something like that. Okay, earthquake.
There was an earthquake in the other side of the world. Yes. Yes, my dear family. You remember I couldn't get it last week. I said, oh, 7th chapter is very beautiful. Now I'm very happy that we can see, and still there is more to come. You will see how many, and now is the cooking. We are starting to taste our dishes already. Very nice. Thank you, my dear family.
Yes.
Somebody else?
Or rather, sorry, I should say that if maybe without the comparison, like we might know that earthquake exists, we know earthquake, but without the details, we don't know how harmful it can be, or like what consequences it gives.
May translate, and this is where we are going. As you know, chapter 9 is all about practice, all exclusively about practice. You will see, there will be no doubt. Somebody else, my dear family, how
Carol,
are
if you
you?
want to say something, you can speak in Spanish also.
Yes, Spanish, no problem. Welcome.
No, English as you wish.
Estaba pensando que a veces uno como que se siente bastante bien, o sea, no sé, como que alcanza uno a estar a cierto bienestar, como que olvida esto, ¿no? Estas cosas. Entonces hoy pasó eso, así de, no se termina, no se acaba hasta que de verdad acaba.
No se acaba hasta que se acaba.
Sí, sí suena.
And the mind wants to rest. Our mind wants to rest. I imagine. Yes. The mind wants. Yeah, we continue, my dear family. Somebody, thank you, Carito. Thank you, Caro. Then I think it's also time. Yes, it's time.
Everybody is happy, so it's very nice.
Yeah.
We'll continue next week.
We're rejoicing.
With more information about more examples.
Akusala, next week is Akusala, more examples to come.
And
some of them.
Some stories and things.
Yes, stories coming. And then we will go to the good side of it with many. This chapter, very, very juicy, very, I don't know, with many insights will come. Today already, we are rejoicing. So let's recognize the mudita we have towards one another. As we mentioned what we are understanding, I think it brings joy and it brings understanding. I saw our faces when someone was talking. In the video, you can say, oh, yes, I didn't saw that point. So we are feeding to one another. So this, my dear family, is what is called Kalyanamita, spiritual friendship. We are trying our best. We are coming together, inspiring one another. May we do and decide well. With all this information, definitely we have many, many tools. We remember our parents. With all this joy, may all our family be benefited by this inspiration, by these seeds and tools. May all beings, or our family, teachers, people we know, people we don't know. We share our merits with all the beings in all the 31 realms. Whenever there are beings, may the fruits of this joy of wisdom, the joy of understanding, the best quality that human can have access, the joy of knowing clearly and being at peace. May these fruits, we share our fruits with all beings, especially our mother, father, brothers and sisters, sons, daughters, grandsons, grandparents, uncles and aunties, cousins, all our friends, co-workers, neighbors, people in our country, in our continent, all the continents, in the sea, in the sky, crawling, flying, walking, swimming, whatever being there is, small or big, may the fruits of this goodness and inspiration nourish them. May all beings be well, may all beings be free. Through the goodness that arises from our practice, may our spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, our mother, our father, and our relatives, the sun and the moon and all virtuous leaders of the world, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of our lives. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from our practice and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease and unharmful states of mind until we realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May we have an upright mind with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken our resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge, and surpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble Lord. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the supreme power of all these, may darkness and delusion be dispelled. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Peace in all our hearts, on all the beings. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. So have a good week ahead, and we continue exploring next week.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Examples and stories and details.
No se pierdan el próximo capítulo. Seguimos, queridos. Falta más, ahí viene lo bueno. Gracias. Llegamos al tope, al plató. Se puede ver el mar. Ya podemos ver el mar. Yeah.
Have a good night.
Buenas noches. Good night. Have good, sweet dreams. Sweet dreams. Good rest.
Good morning.